it's Kristen with Bariatric Mindset. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody who wants to jump on can jump on. I said that I would do a live stream today about replacement behaviors just in time for New Year's. So I printed this out, but I also, you can probably, the sun is coming right through my office window, so this is not meant for you to read on camera. But I posted in the group so you can download a PDF with all of the amazing things on it. I very frequently will speak at local support groups, and I will do a talk, and whenever I do a talk, I have another one that I actually need to list into the group too. It's on boundary setting and family members and things like that. So I will post that, and I kind of like turn it into a little master class. So I have a couple more of those coming for you guys, since I have done more support group meetings and it's just in my computer. I just have to find the time to do a live stream on it and then upload the content. And then another thing I want to tell you, I guess this is more of like order of business, is whenever I have an article that goes live on Obesity Help or the Obesity Action Coalition, I post it on my page and in my group, because I want to make sure, hey Tina, thanks for joining. I want to make sure that you guys have access to that content as well. So that I just wanted to let you know about. So make sure that you guys are all able to download this. It's a PDF in the group. It's under the Files tab. So this is the thing that I wanted to talk about, because it is New Year's Eve and everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people will have, a touch of bubbly or some kind of alcohol. And for those of us who have had weight loss surgery, I tend to just call it bariatric surgery, because that's kind of what I've always known it as, the clinical term. But that a lot of people will develop, 30% of individuals, it says it at the top of this paper, 30% of individuals after bariatric surgery will develop a replacement behavior or a transfer addiction. Now, I have to say this. I am not someone who is, and I'm getting personal here, but I'm the kind of person that's like, you've got to figure this out for you. I'm not the food police, and I'm certainly not the alcohol police. And so I don't feel that it's my job to tell you, like, don't drink ever, or, don't do this. I think it's really a personal decision. Now, if you know you have issues with addiction, or you've had struggles with addictive behaviors in the past, then you really do need to check yourself, right? Yours is working out. Oh, so trouble working out, or your addiction is working out? Like, you really like working out? I like working out too. I wouldn't say that it was an addiction. But I think one of the things that we've got to look out for is how is it impacting your life? So I'm going to go from talking kind of very casually to now talking clinically. So as a therapist, one of the things that I will tell my clients is, where it becomes an issue and where the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, we call it the DSM, talks about where something becomes an addiction is when it begins to impact your life in a negative way. When it starts to eat up your money, when it starts to eat up your time, when you're not seeing your family, when you're going to go and sneak off to get that thing more than anything else, when it's impacting your job. Hey Jill, thanks for joining. So that's why I want you guys to look at, like, the signs and symptoms. Like, is this a legitimate issue for you? What is something in your life? So a lot of the replacement behaviors, the most common ones, are excessively drinking alcohol, abuse of narcotics for pain management, use of recreational drugs, excessive shopping, spending habits, hoarding, sexual promiscuity, increased porn viewing. Honestly, the porn viewing one is I would have to say statistically is more guys than girls. Let's be real. But I think it is a valid statistic to bring up, because if any of you guys have husbands that have also had surgery, it's just something to watch out for. Gambling, and then grazing to the point of weight gain, right? So that's where the food addiction component comes in. And so it's also understand to know the difference between a replacement behavior and an addiction transfer. Because an addiction transfer is when it's a term coined by psychologists that individuals who are involved in like a substance abuse treatment. It involves the tendency of people to relapse after being treated for one form of substance abuse to develop a compulsion for another abuse or harmful behavior. So for example, if somebody has a food addiction and then it transfers to alcohol addiction or drug addiction, or if someone, there have been actually transfer addictions noted where somebody, let's say, even if they stop smoking, then what happens? You can see people who gain weight as a result of that, right? And then also for people who have had issues with alcohol, they can gain weight because they've transferred their addiction. So it goes both ways. It's not like it's just a phenomenon within the bariatric community. It's one of these phenomena that really kind of happens within substance abuse. Now, I also am one of those people that don't believe that everyone who's had bariatric surgery is a food addict. I personally do not characterize myself as a food addict at all. And this is another thing that's important for me to teach on, are the difference in cravings and emotional eating, because they're two different things. A craving is like, oh, I need a piece of chocolate. Like, oh, I really am craving chocolate, or I'm really craving something, that's salty, or I'm craving something that's sweet. And a craving is something that you want a specific food. And while I have to say I'm not a nutritionist at all, one of the things that I've learned in my research is that whenever somebody has a big craving, what happens is they're actually craving something that they're missing in their body. So what I know about chocolate is that if you're craving chocolate, you're probably low on magnesium. And and I can go back and find like a whole list of those. But that's just one example of how a craving is not emotional eating. Now, emotional eating is if you're stressed, if you're lonely, if you're bored, if you're tired. And I'm sure you've heard like lonely, angry, hungry, tired. But this is not hungry. This is head hunger. So where there's something emotional going on. Your boss just yelled at you. Your kid got into a car accident, or your dad got rushed to the hospital, or your husband just lost his job, or something that is emotionally riveting, right? That hey Megan, welcome. So can only see some people who pop on. So if I haven't said hi to you, please do not take offense, guys, okay? Anyway, so if something emotionally riveting happens, then what can happen for a lot of people is they turn to the food. They're like, okay, I just need to eat something, right? So the biological piece for that is that when you're eating, you feel like you need to calm your brain down. And that is a habit that you picked up before surgery, right? So after surgery, what happens is you're looking to kind of like numb, although I don't think that that's the word that people would use, but you're looking to like soothe yourself. Like, I'm just tense. I just need to calm down. So when you think of alcohol, right, what do people say? Like, oh my gosh, I've had such a rough day. Like, I need a drink. Like, let's go for happy hour. Let's have a glass of wine. So after surgery though, you go out for that one glass of wine, and there's something you need to know if you don't already know it, and that is your blood alcohol level will be 10 times what it might have been before, because it takes your body that much time to process, the alcohol. It goes to your bloodstream like that, And then it also will take much longer, up to 18 hours. And I know it's going to be different for everyone. So I know there are going to be people like, it ran off for me in 2 hours. Great. But up to, because everyone's different after this surgery. Okay. So up to 18 hours, you can still have a blood alcohol level of over 0.08. That is scary, guys. That is scary, because literally it's almost like we can't go out and have one drink anymore. And that's why I'm doing this on New Year's Eve, because, I know a lot of people who are going to go out and have some bubbly. So that's why I'm definitely encouraging people, like, have an Uber. If you're going to go out and have a drink. Sorry, I got a phone call and I can't turn off my phone, I don't think. Anyway, so grab an Uber, or, get I don't know what it's called. I know there's a couple different ones, like a Lyft, right? I don't know, like out west they have Lyft, here we have Uber. Get a taxi, ask a friend to give you a ride home, all of those things. So I think that is what's going to be most important, is that this is not something that ruins your life in terms of if you're going out on New Year's Eve, because I know New Year's Eve is not going to be like every other night. However, if you do have too much as a bariatric patient, again, your blood alcohol level is going to go up, but it's going to be so much different than what life was like before surgery, right? So you're going to probably get a buzz or drunk a whole lot quicker. And I know from a lot of the people that I talked to at the support group and some of my clients, I've heard people say like, I just can't drink, because if I do, like I'm asleep or I'm toast or, I love it, Sarah. She says, I don't drink at all, but I never really have. I have hot plans tonight. I have an exercise video on the schedule. We're staying in and eating leftovers. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. But that's something that a lot of people will do, is go out. And it's interesting to see, you know, I'm not necessarily taking a poll, but this would be interesting. How many people are actually going out tonight and how many people are staying home? I know I'm staying home. But I know we might have, you know, one glass of something to celebrate. And when I say my glass is probably like a sip, because I don't want to go and be comatose. But this is the thing that's important that I want to address, because again, there are some people who will have issues with, hey, Nancy, yeah, we're staying home too. Jill's not going anywhere either. Man, we should have a party tonight, an online party. Tina's staying home too. So, because this is one of those things where people can have the transfer addiction after surgery. So if you have a bunch of friends who have had weight loss surgery like you have, here are the risk factors: a family history of substance abuse, a history of eating disorders, food addiction or compulsive eating, regular consumption of alcohol prior to surgery, chronic history of chronic pain, use of narcotics, history of trauma, especially childhood sexual abuse, history of depression or mood anxiety disorders, lack of adequate support, feeling isolated, so people will turn to other things if they don't have enough support, avoidance of emotions or feelings, right? So if the food is no longer there to comfort you, what is going to happen? It's the inability to feel one's feelings, to actually process through them, right? Which is huge. History of engaging in self-sabotaging behaviors and difficulty with stimulus management. And the reason I say stimulus management is because we live in a very what I would call like ADHD society or ADD society, where we're like, squirrel, what's that? Well, squirrel. And so a lot of times we're looking for something to really like calm us or distract us or take away the pain or avoid the pain, avoid what's going on in our lives, avoid, let's say, what's not happy. And I'm going to remind myself to do a live stream on this another day. But that is that there are a lot of people that I've met who have gotten to, let's say, 18 months, 24 months post-surgery, and they're like, okay, who am I? Like, what do I really want for my life? And then going in that direction is super scary, because all they knew was this trying to lose weight. And now that's gone, right? Because they've succeeded. So now there are all of these other things that come up. Some of it could be self-sabotage. Some of it could be, you know, again, just awareness. Who am I? What do I want for my life? And then that can be something that leads down to, well, I'm not really happy, right? So Nancy says, feeling my feelings is a really scary thing sometimes. Yes, it is. And I think that for a lot of people who haven't felt their feelings, it can be really scary because you don't know what that's going to come with. And I'm going to share a story about this, actually. Yes. Jill, oh my gosh, there's so much to learn. But we're gonna help you. That's what I'm doing these live streams for, and that's what I'm writing articles for, and that's why I wrote the book. Ultimately, to help people to work through this. Okay. So, I want to go back up because I want to make sure. Okay, feeling feelings is really scary. So, I have a client who I've been working with for over a year now. And, we're just getting to the point. We got to a point like literally right before Thanksgiving. She's like, all right, Kristen, I'm ready to feel my feelings. Like, I'm ready. Like, I want to go into 2018 and I want to be a rock star. Like, I am ready. And I'm like, okay, let's do this, right? Let's do this. So I start in, and she's like, I want to work on my anger. I want to work on my sadness. I'm like, okay, let's do this. So like, we're in our session, and I'm like, all right, let's open up. Let's talk about this issue. Let's feel this anger. And I'm starting to help her walk through it, because this is a very scary thing for some people, and in terms of feeling anger. So I'm like, all right, she's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know if I'm going to like black out and like kill somebody. I don't know. Like, she was really scared. She's like, I don't know if I'm going to just be so angry that I'm going to want to punch something. Like, I've pushed it down for so long. I'm just not sure. So she asked for it. So I'm like, all right, are you ready? Like, let's do this. And she was like, so then when I like called her on it, she was like, oh no, can't do this. I was like, okay. We're going to take it one step at a time. So here's a first step. And for those of you who have my book, this exercise that I'm about to show you is in my book. This is actually not about replacement behaviors, but it's going to be good. And it's actually, I had her walk through what I call an EFT tap on being open to feeling her feelings. Because the first step is not actually feeling your feelings. The first step is actually being open to feeling your feelings. So, first of all, let me tell you, emotional freedom techniques is actually tapping on the acupressure meridian. So if you guys have ever heard of acupuncture, right? We're not puncturing anything. It's just acupressure. So you're taking your fingertips and you're actually tapping on the different acupressure, and it actually makes a world of difference in terms of relieving anxiety. It's one of my go-to techniques that I use in my practice, and it shifts belief systems like crazy. So what I had her do is I said, I am open to feeling my feelings fully. I am open to really feeling my feelings. I am open to the idea that I'm going to feel my feelings. I'm open to the idea that I can feel my feelings and it's safe and secure. I am open to feeling my feelings and that it will be safe and secure. Hey, Barb. I am open to feeling my feelings and I'm going to feel safe and secure. And then on the chest. So I'm doing these different points. So top of the head, forehead, side of the eye, under the nose, right here at the chin, and then the chest. I am open and willing to feel my feelings fully. Now, this does not mean that you're actually going to like finish this tap and like you're going to be angry. What it means is that you're opening yourself up to the idea that you could possibly feel your feelings and that you'll still be safe when you do. Right? So we're not there yet. We're not there to feeling your feelings yet. All this does is to help you shift the belief system that you're going to be able to do it, that you will be able to do it at some point, but there's not a definitive time. Okay? So, but doing that helps you go, okay, I'm not so scared of it, because we can't get you to feel your feelings until we wipe away the fact that you have a fear about feeling your feelings. Are you guys with me? Does that make sense? So anyway, so she comes back. Obviously, I've seen her multiple times, and literally, just this last week, as a matter of fact, she had kind of like did some anger work on her own. Yes, it's kind of similar to EMDR, but a different strategy. Yes. Awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills. I'm so glad that you guys get this. Okay, awesome. So what happened is she came back this week, and we do phone sessions. Sometimes I see her in my office, but we do phone sessions. So she was like, oh my gosh, I had this horrible, anger come up with my ex-husband and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, so how did it go? She was like, I was so angry and I didn't know how to process my emotions, but I ended up going to the gym and I did this and I did that. And I said, that's you feeling your feelings. That was you actually being open to feel your feelings. And she was like, oh my gosh. And then she had this huge breakthrough in terms of feeling her feelings, and then ended up crying on the phone. And that it was her realization that she could feel it, that she could experience, and she wasn't going to die. She wasn't going to hurt anybody else. It was amazing. So the point that I'm getting to here is that feeling your feelings can be very scary. And if you've stuffed them down with food, with, other, replacement behaviors for a long period of time, then it's going to be scary for the first time that you feel your feelings. So what the exercise that I just gave you isn't so you can jump to, all right, Kristen, I'm going to feel it tonight. No. It's just to help you become open to the possibility, open to the idea. Are you guys with me? This is good stuff, right? Okay. So then, what I also want to look at is like, what can I do to heal, right? So what can I do to like, if I'm drinking and I want like another drink, or I want this or I want that. So awareness. So recognize that there's an issue and admit it to yourself, right? And I think that this is very hard because it feels like failure, right? Oh my gosh, I have this other issue, or am I going to regain the weight? So this is not about admitting failure or anything like that. This is about admitting to oneself, like, okay, I'm either using food by grazing all day, or I'm having too much alcohol, or I'm hitting the bars way too much, or I'm going to happy hour way too much, or I'm having way too much fun with margaritas after work, or even when I went to the Obesity Help Conference and spoke, there was another professional who talked about her client who was like, oh my gosh, I'm having like amazing sex with strangers I don't even know. And she was like, she shared this story because she was like, okay, I'm horrified. Because that's another thing is after surgery, there's a, and I call it stimulus, but there's this excitement, there's this thrill of, oh my gosh, I get to do this thing that I never got to do before. And, it's also, that's a whole other talk about boundaries and feeling validated and feeling the need to be accepted. And then people going off and, having, a lot of sex and promiscuity. Again, no judgment. I am not judging anybody who does that, but I'm just saying that it can be dangerous because of, what is it? Oh gosh, no, I can't remember, but it's the, HPV, and of course AIDS and hepatitis and, other stuff like that. So, I'm just trying to educate so that you guys are careful, so that you can check in for yourself. Again, because I'm not the food police, I'm not the sex police, I'm not the, alcohol police. I want you to be healthy and happy. So, with that being said, after surgery, what you can have, or some people can have, is this like, oh my gosh, this is a life that I never experienced before. And it's very stimulating for your brain. It's very exciting for your brain, because your brain, after surgery, right, can continue to look for those dopamine hits. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So dopamine is one of the neuroreceptors, right, in the pleasure center of your brain that helps you calm down, but also brings like happy, right? So there's, I think it's oxytocin and dopamine, and of course there's serotonin. What else is there? There's another one. Anyway, my point is, all of these neuroreceptors after surgery, if they're not getting stimulated by something, they're going to find something else to get stimulated. So it's important that the awareness process, that's why I definitely encourage all of my clients to have a journal. Now, with that said, excuse me, I also know that there are people who hate journaling, hate it with a passion. And so what I suggest to those people, and I actually said this as part of my talk at OH, and as a side note, I'm trying to get that uploaded on YouTube so that I can share it with you guys, even though it's not the best video in the world, but I think it's such valuable content. So I will try to get that uploaded in the next week. But what I mentioned about that is that at the conference was take your phone, right? Take your phone and I know. Okay, so one of the things, so you've got to take it one step at a time. And you know what? I will share something with you in a second, Nancy, that I think will help. So take your phone and then start talking into it. Because if you're not a journaler per se, like handwritten, one of the things that's important is that you hear yourself, right? So you may need to get this stuff out, but maybe in written form is not how you're going to get it out, but maybe how you're going to get it out is verbally explaining it. Not yet, Barb, but guess what? I actually have a journal coming out in 2 weeks. So it's actually about processing through feelings. So it's going to be called Bariatric Mindset, Feelings, Food, and Rediscovering You. So that's coming out. So it doesn't have a place for journaling because the book was so thick that I didn't want to make it thicker. And then, of course, I don't think you guys know this, but the full color one, I did not choose the price for that. Amazon, because of the printing costs, it's high. So I am not crazy, believe me. That's why I decided to go with the black and white journals, because I thought the full color was pretty, but the printing costs are astronomical. Astronomical. So I just want you guys to know that's not me. Okay, moving on. So talk into your phone and then play it back and listen to that person. Empathize with that person, right? What are they sharing with you? Because now, once you've listened to it, just like you go back and reread your journal, if you're not journaling and you're just, talking into your phone, you can listen and go, wow, what kind of pain is that person in? Like, what are they experiencing? What are they struggling with? Like, wow, that's, so you're able to look at it from a different perspective. So that's another tool that I use and that I think is important. So, I know, baby, so am I get it. High five. I mean, but I also wanted to make it affordable because I definitely know that there are people who want the full color and I, get it like, baby, I'm worth it. No. Okay, that's, but I also know that I wanted to make it so that, that really everybody could have access to it. So that's why I created the other one. So, Nancy, we're talking about ADD and like squirrel. So one of the things that I would do is, and maybe you've thought about this, maybe not, set a timer or have the same time every day that you do one exercise. So let's say you're going to track food this week, okay? Because in that journal, I don't think, Nancy, you've gotten yours yet, but in that journal, where do I have it? Anyways, it's over there. Yay, Jill, excited. It has a section that says, what's your focus this week? What's your focus? If you have too many focuses, it's not going to work. Like if you're doing the food and feelings, then you should not be working on fitness. If you're doing fitness, and the reason I say that is I want people to kind of take one step at a time. Because if you kind of go like, all right, like, hog wild, like I'm going to do everything all at once. Like that's the biggest problem, which is another live stream. Another problem with New Year's resolutions is that people want to shift so quickly from here to here. And it doesn't happen that way. You've got to shift one thing at a time. So, and man, this live stream is kind of ADD because I went like from here to here. We got to get back on addiction transfer and replacement behaviors. But when I'm talking about changing behaviors, you've got to focus on one thing at a time. So Nancy, what I would suggest is that what you do is you focus on one thing for the week. And then every day check in with that one thing and practice that one thing. Because that's going to help you to build, exactly, squirrel. It's going to help you to build that habit. And then you can start on something else the following week and then something else the following week. And then by week 4, you've worked on mastering 4 different activities or 4 different levels of one activity. So let's say you're tracking your food on week 1 and then you integrate meal planning in week 2. And then on week 3, yes, one thing this week. One thing at a time. Because, and I call it, here's my, I'm going to have to coin this, right? I call it the cheeseburgers to salad philosophy. How often, and this was me before surgery, literally every January, I was like, all right, salads for the rest of the month, for the rest of the year, for the rest of my life. And then by January 15th, I was like eating hamburgers again. or whatever it was, because I just couldn't stick with it because it was too drastic. It was too big. Oh, and the other thing I would do is like, okay, I have to go to the gym like every day for like 2 hours. Too much. Too much. Your brain cannot take it. Your brain cannot take it. It's not sustainable. So I'm here to bring sustainable change. One thing at a time. All right. So with these replacement behaviors, 30% of people will develop a transfer addiction or replacement behavior. It has to do with what happened, in their past. It could be their coping mechanisms, their inability to cope and things like that. Yes, I know. I mean, I don't just talk about things that, I've been through. I talk about things that my clients have been through. I talk about things that I've seen in research. So it's good to know that because I got more where that came from. So it's important to just build the awareness. So again, for this little workshop about replacement behaviors, one of the things, step 1 is awareness. So what can I do? How to heal? It's down here at the bottom. So seek support. So I have seek support as talk to a therapist, counselor, certified bariatric coach, or psychologist. I mean, it could also be that you talk to a friend or you talk to someone who is close to you if you think that this is something that's bothering you. But I was speaking at a support group when I put this on there, and I wanted to make sure, because I knew that there were some people that were in the audience that had transfer addiction. So I wanted to make sure that they had adequate support. So, and sometimes family and friends are not supportive. That's also a live stream for another day. Talk to your bariatric surgeon, bariatrician, or PCP. If you guys don't know what a bariatrician is, it's actually a doctor that specializes in obesity, clinical obesity, but they don't do surgery. They're kind of like a weight loss person or a medical weight loss person. So there are those people out there. They're mostly in big cities, not so much in like smaller rural areas. Seek support, social support with friends or through. Sorry, I got another phone call. Okay, seek social support with friends or through other support groups. Look for a therapy group specializing in addiction or replacement behaviors. And then you can also attend AA, OA, or addiction treatment, 12-step groups. There are many online. So I put that in there because I think it's also important to know that. But I also want to, circle back around to the blood alcohol level, because I don't know if everybody who's on now was able to see that earlier. So when you drink, your blood alcohol level goes up. For people who who are on pain management, that's something that's very important that you talk to your doctor about, or if you're going to have another surgery and they're like, oh, what other issues have you had? It's important to tell them that you've had weight loss surgery because your dosage may be different, because again, the pills or the drugs that they'll prescribe will enter your bloodstream differently. Just like when we had surgery, they gave us like liquid medicine, and I know we can't have NSAIDs. But that's important for the doctor or surgeon to know, even if it's not like it's not like a revision or anything, but like you're going in for knee surgery or ankle surgery, like it's important for them to know about that pain medication. And then it's important to know if you're having any depressed symptoms or any other kind of like anxiety symptoms, because then you do need to speak to a counselor or someone, because that is something that somebody called me again. So that's something that could potentially be very serious if somebody was like taking pain medication after, for a long period of time, because that can also, there's also other issues with pain management, drugs that I've seen as a therapist in my practice, like people who, not just the addiction symptoms, but just a lot of lifestyle issues. So for people who have a transfer addiction to pain management, like they're not, they're horribly constipated. There's obviously anger management issues. Their eating changes, sleeping behaviors change, and things like that. So it's important that if you know someone or, who has those things. Oh, can you see me? Can you see me now? Jill, I think I had somebody call me twice. So let me know if you guys can see me. I can always restart part 2. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Yay. All right. Thanks. My sister keeps trying to FaceTime me, and she, you know, I didn't schedule this live stream, so she doesn't know. And so she's trying to FaceTime me probably to show me my nieces. And I'm like, no, decline. Gotta love family. Okay. So there are a lot of different issues with the pain management. So that's why it's important, because that is also one that people can transfer to after surgery. Not immediately, I would say, but I would say that a lot of people, if they've had another surgery, or if they're having another surgery or something like that happens, if there's already some depression issues or anxiety issues, it can be like, well, let me just numb the pain with this. Let me just numb the pain with this. And then they just kind of sleep, because pain meds typically make someone sleep more. So this is why I wanted to talk about it on New Year's Eve, because, you know, for a lot of people, especially if you're new to surgery, like you're newly sleeved or you're a new bypass, it could be like, well, can I have alcohol? So again, I am not a medical doctor, so I have to preface this, but the my surgeon and other surgeons definitely recommend that you wait at least 3 to 6 months after surgery to have a glass of bubbly or a glass of wine, just to really take care of your tummy, because you're still healing. So if you're one of those peeps that has that question, that's the answer. But again, no judgment. You do you. But you know, we're all responsible for our own decisions, right? So, but I wanted to share that. So I think it's a very important topic to talk about the replacement behaviors, the risk factors, you know, what is addiction transfer, signs and symptoms, and what you can do to heal. And if anybody thinks that they have, you know, specific issues with any type of transfer addiction, you know, the other ones that I didn't really talk about, but were like excessive shopping or hoarding, those are also important because they can go unnoticed. And I'm still here, Jill. You can't see me. Those are the ones that go unnoticed. So I would say start to practice awareness of your thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and what comes up for you when you are stressed or having issues. So that's what I've got. Oh, yay! So that's what I've got for you guys today. Does anybody have any questions? Before I pop off, does anybody have any questions? Thank you for all the hearts. I love it. I love it. I don't see anybody typing, but I hope that you guys have an amazing, amazing New Year, a New Year celebration, whatever that entails. And I am going to be popping in this week to talk about how to avoid regain or to keep the weight off. And that's kind of the goal for January, to really discuss how to stop regain, how to lose the regain, how to stay on track, be on track, because that's what a lot of people are focused on. Aww. If I'm ever in Greensboro, I will definitely let you know. If you're ever in Atlanta, let me know, okay? So there's so much more to come, guys. And here's another super secret. Super secret. I am starting a YouTube channel in addition to doing live streams. So I am actually going to be recording videos later on tonight. That's how I'm spending my New Year's, and tomorrow. So I'll be sure to be sharing those in the group as well, so that everybody will have access to them. In addition to, oh my gosh, I'd love it. I'd love it. Yes. You know what, Nancy? I have to plan my live streams. I'm going to have to put it on my schedule, because right now I'm doing it with clients, and I'm writing articles, and I'm supporting, and like there's so much going on. I literally have to sit down and just mark it on my calendar and write down a live stream and then just post it in the group. So I'm going to start planning those for real. And then I'm also going to be posting my YouTubes in here as well too. So I wish you guys tons of love and light in the new year. And I posted also something for everybody to check out, like, what are your goals? Now, I know everybody wants to lose weight in 2018. I mean, duh. But I want you guys to be specific. What is it that you want? What else is it that you want to gain or lose in 2018? Not just the weight, but what is it that you want? Like, gain confidence. I want to gain, what else is it? What are you going to, I know this sounds so like cliche. I think it's like the special K or whatever. Like, what are you going to gain when you lose? Like, so what is it that you're going to get from losing? What is it that you're going to get? So I have another post out in the group about that. So I'd love for you guys to post on that. Okay. So, mwah, love you guys. I hope that you have an amazing New Year's, and I will make sure that yay! Oh, I'm so glad. And my sister's calling again. Thank you, Nancy. You have made my day, and I appreciate you guys so much for popping on and listening to me. It's getting dark and my lights are not in my office, so I think it's like a signal too. So I hope you guys have an amazing new year. I will be popping on this week. I will schedule it, and I will let you guys know. And I will also let everybody know tomorrow about the 30-minute session. I'm so excited. And if you haven't posted on that, find that, because I did another live stream about that. So happy new year, and download the replacement behaviors PDF, and much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.